Thanks for tuning in to the Big Nose Podcast, a platform for me to nose into other people's business. On this podcast, I strive to share with you stories from a range of different people over various different topics. So, before my nose starts twitching any further, let's get down to business. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Big Nose Podcast. This week on the podcast, I wanted to find out more about the rising success of Ireland's very own Onlyfans content creators. To this end, I thought it best to speak to someone who is at the top of their game on this platform. I'm joined by Naomi Hackett, and I'm delighted to have you on the show today.
Hi, how are you?
Just before we start, I know what OnlyFans is only after researching some of the stuff I've seen online, but for anybody who's out there that's listening and has heard about it, can you explain what exactly OnlyFans is?
Basically, it's a platform for content creators. Now, it doesn't have to be explicit, but most people tend to put up some photos and videos onto their private page, and for you to see them, you have to subscribe, basically.
So it's whatever people really want to share, and I know in more recent times it's become a platform for, as you said, explicit content. How did you first come across OnlyFans yourself?
I seen a girl locally who started doing it, and within weeks she was making more money than she knew what to do with. So I looked into it and found it interesting, and I just went with it. So
it was just through word of mouth, and obviously she was having some success in terms of generating good money, and that's what sparked your interest originally.
Yeah, that is. But I'd say it's the same with everyone,
Yeah, it's just a case of finding your niche in it. So that's how you got into OnlyFans. When you're starting up your account, what did you decide to start it? Was it starting out first with personal pictures, or how did you decide what type of content you wanted to create?
I subscribed to a few people and got ideas from there, but I kind of started off all in.
All in, so kind of explicit. So that's kind of probably where OnlyFans has probably got its reputation in more recent times in terms of the explicit content. In terms of what you get for your money in terms of a subscriber, how do you break that down in terms of earning money?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people do have their page locked at whatever price, which is fine. Before you subscribe, you'll be able to see how many posts, like photos and videos, that person has up, and then you can kind of go from there. Now, in the person's description, their bio, as you'd call it, They will have what they offer on their page. So that's how you can kind of debate. Now, some girls do have, let's say, their page for $15. Some girls do just offer non-explicit content at that price, and then there's some girls who might even be cheaper that offer everything. So it just depends on looking around. It's kind of like shopping, like you won't know it till you try it.
The dangers of the online shopping, especially in lockdown, you can be searching around different things and getting different prices. I imagine it's pretty much the same on OnlyFans.
Oh, exactly, yeah. So that's why it's kind of good that a month is offered, because then you can decide you don't want to continue following whoever after a month, which is perfectly fine and normal. So it's a good option.
And in terms of on your page, there's obviously ways you can earn more money depending on what content you're creating, and obviously when you subscribe to your page there's different ways in terms of maybe you might get requests, or there might be requests from other content creators to do collaborations. Can you talk through that for a little bit in terms of what collaborations you might do and what the benefits to you or the other person that you do it with?
So like the way I've done collabs, I've reached out to girls, and I don't look at their followers or anything like that because it doesn't bother me. But it works good that in a way, if you were to collab with a girl, then they're posting their content on their actual explicit page and you're posting it on yours, and you're kind of merging fans, and then they're swapping over and maybe joining the two pages and paying for them both. So it's a good way to kind of promote yourself and put yourself out there. Even if someone hasn't got that many fans on the other page, it's still good publicity for you, so that's a way to earn extra money. And then there's obviously the requests, like maybe dressing up, or some people like a little bit of a kink or a fetish thing. So
yeah, there's each to their own. Everybody likes something different, but I'm sure with that, there, like a portion of any society or any population, I'm sure there's been some strange requests that you've gotten in over the time that you've been on it so far.
Oh, there has. Every day there is something new, but I've actually kind of learned to just be like yeah or no I'm not even shocked anymore, and that says it all.
Really, it's that case of you've been kind of numbed against the way in which, you know, different people will send in their content requests.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, I either go with it or I either don't. And people do be kind of respectful. Like, if you don't want to do it, nobody does be bad towards me, and that's my experience being, but I've had a lot of respect.
Well, that's good, because in a world where there's a lot of negativity going around online, and you know, we all are aware of what happened with the Be kind of initiative that went online. It's good to hear that you're strong enough within yourself to say, you know, it's water off a duck's back, but at the same time, when you do say no, that you're getting respected for doing that.
Yeah, I find a lot of the time, if I was saying to my friends, "Oh, you'll never guess what someone said to me about doing it," and then I tell them, and then they're like, "Oh, but you kind of knew, like, you get that at the start," and I'm like, I don't think I should be in a position that I have to just tolerate abuse or tolerate bad comments. Like, maybe just, if you don't like something, scroll on. There's no need for people to write a negative message or a negative comment or to say something to someone else knowing it'll get back to you. Like, I just don't understand the logic of people actually going out of their way to tear someone else down. Like, it's beyond me, to be honest.
Totally, and you're putting yourself on this platform to do what you want to do, and people come on, and it's a level of respect between the person who's creating the content and the person, you know, requesting the content, and that's an important part as well. And you know, more experience you get with running the content online, I suppose it's easier for you to just say no or yeah. Is there anything that you wouldn't do?
Well, if you really want to know, stuff like people fantasize, like, "Oh, have you any siblings?" and all that, and I'm just like, no, don't even start. I wouldn't even acknowledge that kind of thing or that message, so I just kind of tend to be like, no, I'm sorry, no, that's not going to happen. So yeah, it'd be that kind of stuff, like the weirdness when it comes out in people, but I suppose I expected that anyway when I made my account.
Yeah, well, you know, we're a society of weird people, and I think when you're hiding behind a keyboard or a phone screen, there's probably stuff that people would ask that they wouldn't generally bring up in public if they were out there. So that's probably that side of society that you're getting. A thing that we touched on previously in the conversation is about, you know, the fact that when you're doing it, you're self-promoting yourself, you're marketing yourself, you're an entrepreneur in that sense. And when I wanted to discuss OnlyFans and talk about OnlyFans, the conversation of women showing off their body confidence or the empowerment of women often comes up. Do you think this is a relevant factor in today's society?
100%. I find that when I do it, for me, it's so empowering, because I feel like women are always frowned upon or shamed for enjoying sex, for enjoying themselves, for wanting to explore and stuff like that. And OnlyFans just has no limits. Like, there's people of every colour, every race, every body size, everything you can think of. There's people that have, like, changed their gender and stuff like that, and it's just amazing to see on the platform, because it's not like you have to be this tall, you need to be this skinny, and that's really empowering to see just so many women loving themselves, loving their scars, loving their stretch marks. There's some pregnant women on it as well, which is just amazing to see. And I think it is really empowering, because it kind of takes the stigma away from women can't enjoy doing this, they can't enjoy sex, they can't enjoy talking about it. So I find that really empowering.
It is, you know, and as we touched on, it's a society that we live in. We're moving towards a level of acceptability, and in old Ireland, where stuff like this would be swept under the carpet or might be frowned upon, if you're confident doing it, you're happy within yourself, and okay, you'll come up against some negative comments. It's great to see that women like yourself, young women like yourself particularly, you know, have the confidence within themselves. And I'm sure you have friends around you that might look at you and say, wow, I'd love to be her. You're in your early 20s compared to the average 20-year-old your age, and the income that you're generating through OnlyFans compared to the average job. How significantly different is it?
I could be making maybe a few months working my average job in a week, a few months' wages in the week doing OnlyFans, so it's quite a substantial amount. Now, I do work full-time as well myself. I'm out of work with COVID at the moment, so it is quite a substantial amount, and it's really good. I had to get my accountant on it as soon as possible. Yeah,
because when the money starts coming in, there's it
has to are waiting. Yeah.
Well, this is it, and there's ways around it.
I also find doing it anytime I do something like this or radio talks, I can't help myself, but when the podcasts and that are uploaded, I do look through the comments and I defend myself. And there's a lot of comments like, "Oh, wait till the tax man gets her. Is she even paying tax?" All this stuff, and I do just roll my eyes, because anyone doing this job, as long as I've been doing it, if they haven't got an accountant or sorted out their taxes, they'd be very, very foolish. So most people have. So the comment does just bug me. But anything else, I'm kind of just like, sure, people have their own opinions with them.
You know, it's a form of business. At the end of the day, you're running your own business. You are promoting yourself. You are your own businesswoman at this stage, and not to have an accountant would be very foolish. And as you said, those comments can, you don't want the tax man coming back at the end of the year, slapping a nice big bill on the end of the year, ruining your Christmas, do you?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Living in Ireland, and we all know how small Ireland is, and Dublin, when you come live in Dublin, it's even smaller. Everybody knows everybody's business. Have you had experience of this, and would you know people who subscribe to your content that you might say that's unusual?
I've had a lot of people that I know subscribing to me, which is fine by me. Everything's discreet with me. I don't care. I have heard, I haven't actually had people come up to me in the street. Now, I have had word of mouth talk, like, "Oh, so and so was saying this about you," and then if I see them in person and I approach them about what they said, they're blank. There's nothing there. Like, they can't say anything. So I've had a lot of that now, because I find a lot of people are very brave when it comes to saying stuff online, compared to when they actually see you in the face. They can't say anything to you. So I've actually never had anything like that happen to me in the street, but if I ever do, then I just feel for the person that's approaching me. So
well, this is it. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, as I said before, and it's easy to hide behind a computer or a mobile phone screen. And when you're in the shops or you're walking down the street, when we'll hopefully get back out walking and socialising again, it's a completely different thing, and it's a gas situation to be in, where someone have been talking about you, and you see that person and you confront them, and then all of a sudden amnesia sets in, and they completely forget what they said or what they didn't say.
Yeah.
Linking your social media platforms, as you have done with your OnlyFans account, is something that not just you have done, but a lot of content creators do. What is the benefit of doing this?
Well, when I first started, I had a couple of thousand Instagram followers, whatever you want to call them. Now, it wouldn't have been many, it would have been about 5,000 or 6,000. So when I linked my account, the subscribers flew in. Now, don't get me wrong, 9 out of 10 of them subscribers probably would have been people being nosy. But that's kind of how I built myself up on my platform. To get more subscribers would have been through Instagram. So the more you put yourself out there, the more you get back from it. So that's my experience.
But the one thing I wanted to ask you as well, obviously it's to stay relevant, like on Instagram, Facebook, or to continually create content. It can be tiring at times. Have you ever felt like I don't want to do this anymore, or I know I haven't posted a video or shared some content in a couple of days, I'm not really up for it? Do you ever feel like taking a break away from it?
Yeah, no, of course I do. There's been plenty of times where I wasn't feeling well, or I was sick, or I was just having a bad day with my mental health, and I just kind of took myself off for a day. But in fairness, I really do enjoy doing it, and I enjoy interacting with all my subscribers. So I know a lot of girls, I know a few that would delete their page and then a few months later get back up and do it that way, but I've actually always been consistent with it, because I want the best result and the more money for myself and the more fans. So kind of want to keep everyone happy. So, but yeah, I am enjoying doing it, so I have no thoughts to kind of quit at the moment. I'm just going to see where it leads me.
Yeah, to go with the flow, as they say. What feedback do you get from your friends? Because obviously you're publicising your content, and it doesn't happen in a vacuum, and as you said, people within your circle of friends, or maybe within society that you mix with, will have seen your content. Do you ever get feedback off your friends or your family, or even do your family know of what you're doing online?
When I first started doing it, I started out with a significant amount of friends, and I have lost a lot. But I just kind of took that as a blessing in disguise. If they want to go, just let them go. I'm not going to fight for them. But the friends that have stayed around me have just been so supportive, and they've been so great. I just couldn't thank them enough, kind of. But if I have a photo and I don't know what to make of it. I'm like, oh, should I upload that? Should I not? I'm close enough with my friends to get their opinions and send it to them. So I'm happy at my level of comfort with them. So it's always good feedback from them anyway. So, and there's a lot of them that have said to me, I would do it if I could do it anonymously or if my family wouldn't find out. So a lot of people are kind of in the same mindset.
Why do you think the people who left you in terms of your friends did leave you?
Because they kind of consider it maybe me being a porn star, or I actually couldn't even give you a definite answer as to why people do leave someone for choosing to do that. Like I don't know myself, and I never actually went out of my way to say, do you mind asking why you kind of left me or whatever? Because as I said, I don't care. It's if someone wants to leave, I know my worth more than to go run after them and find out why they wanted to leave and stuff like that. But I'd say it just comes down to people have this kind of envision in their head that people that do OnlyFans don't respect themselves. So maybe they think people won't respect them if they associate with me. But look, at the end of the day, I have more love than I do hate, and I'm completely happy with that. So for every negative message I get 10 of support. So
as I said, your friend, obviously your friends, but do your family know what you're doing on OnlyFans?
Yeah, my family do. Now they don't love it, but they don't hate it. Like at the end of the day, my parents, like I'm their daughter, they're going to support regardless. They know I'm in my 20s. I'm not 16 deciding to do this, and they know I wasn't forced into doing it. It was my own decision. So in their head, they're just like, if she is making a mistake, then let her make that mistake. At the end of the day, they can't kind of protect me forever or whatever. I'm a woman, so I can make my own decisions.
No, that's good to hear. I know, and as I said, you like us all, we have to grow up at some stage, and we do make our own decisions, and most parents thankfully accept them. And if you know what, it all falls down, your parents are always going to be there to pick it back up most of the time. What are the benefits you have found of having your OnlyFans? And I suppose you have had a very successful OnlyFans page. What have the benefits been to you?
Well, at first, the main thing is money. That's a big factor. But also confidence. I suffered with my confidence since as long as I can remember. And then doing that just has boosted me so much. It's actually made me find more friends through OnlyFans. And it's just made me love myself more. And I didn't think I'd ever actually love myself, so it's kind of nice in that sense. And I find a lot of people do it for money, but for me it's kind of going to be more than just money. I feel really empowered doing it, and I feel really confident, and I used to hate having stretch marks and scars and blah blah blah, but doing that and the feedback I receive from my subscribers has just made it all worthwhile, and I really enjoyed doing it. So
yeah, it sounds like it's definitely something that's been able to give you a platform to embrace yourself, and from that, get some level of confidence and build on that. And I think you said earlier, as you said, you struggle with mental health, and that's a dark place at times. And looking at you now, talking to you, come across very well, and you've come across very confident. That's some transformation.
Yeah, I think this lockdown, like the whole coronavirus, the pandemic, I think has tested a lot of people mentally and physically, like I think in every sense. And kind of OnlyFans has been my safe haven to go to when I feel down, because my subscribers are more than just my subscribers. They're my kind of circle of people. They're supportive. They're just brilliant to me. Like, so I'm really thankful for like each and every person that has subscribed to me. But yeah, it's been really good this year, especially like financially, that people are at home. And I've actually had a few messages of people that would text me through OnlyFans and go, hey, I don't know you, and I subscribe to you because I'm having a bad time with my mental health at the moment. And I've turned into a counsellor kind of for a lot of people, which I don't mind doing, because I suppose if I could help someone slightly, then I've no problem staying up as long as I can with them.
Yeah, well, it's a really nice thing to do, and you never know, you could be the difference that makes someone's day. And it's not necessarily through the content you're creating; it's just being there for one of your subscribers, if that's the case. What are the negatives then? I suppose there's obviously the weird requests or whatever you get from some of your subscribers, but I'm sure there are some negatives to OnlyFans that you've come across.
Yeah, now leaks would be a main problem, but since becoming illegal in Ireland now, it's a lot of people are scared, which rightly so. I hope they're terrified to leak anyone's stuff again, but leaks is a problem. Then there would be OnlyFans taxing you on top of revenue taxing you, and then there's just keeping subscribers and keeping your amount of subscribers is a bit difficult. It can be testing, but I wouldn't necessarily say negativity from people in there, because I don't take in negativity. I just don't want to take in negativity. I'm not going to say nothing's ever gotten to me before. Obviously it has. I've had my moments. I think people that want to be negative to me, it says a lot more about them than what I'm doing, so I'm completely fine with that. Let them be. But yeah, leaks are a big thing.
And how would you monitor your leaks? Is there a way in which, through OnlyFans, maybe is there a platform which you can communicate with OnlyFans? How do you monitor the leaking of your content?
I have all my photos and videos watermarked and tracked, like stamped kind of.
Yeah.
I've had a few texts through Twitter saying, hey, I've seen your photos or videos on this site, and they send me the links. Now, you get some genuine people like that, but then there's also a lot of group chats for all the girls and even the boys that do it, and we do just share around if there ever are leaks. We share the leaks into the group chat to look and see if you're in there yourself, and then we report it to company that the page is up on. So it'd be just that way we do it, but I've been lucky enough with leaks. I haven't had too many, thank God.
Looking at the time, obviously we're in COVID times and it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon, but as you said, you're out of work from your full-time job, but obviously this has given you a time to look at maybe focusing on your OnlyFans page and the content that you're creating. But from a lot of research that I've done, there's been a case of there's a COVID bounce or a COVID bonus, with a lot of people being at home and exploring the new phenomenon of OnlyFans. Do you think this is something you've benefited from?
Yeah, 100%, because people are kind of bored at home, so they have just kind of turned online to test the waters, and a lot of people have kind of stuck with it because they enjoyed it.
And one thing I was wondering about that is, there's so much pornography or there's so much explicit content on the internet that's freely available. Like, as they say, 99% of the internet is pornography or explicit images. How do you feel? Why do you feel OnlyFans has been able to find a place within that to be able to earn money for its content creators?
Because it's really personal. Like, if you went onto the hub or whatever, you're kind of just looking for whatever to look, and that's it. But with OnlyFans, it's really personal because you can speak to the person, you can get to know the person, you can get requests off the person. So that's a bonus for a lot of people because it feels like they know the person, and some people do kind of like the idea of subscribing to their neighbour and maybe seeing them in the street or in the shop. So
whatever works for you, I suppose. It's all about that. As you said, it's about kind of creating that connection between you and you kind of, it's like Instagram. Anybody you might follow on Instagram, you feel like you know them after a year, even though you've never come across them in the street or in the pub or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously this takes up a lot of your time, Naomi, but away from the ring lights and the cameras and all that, what do you like to get up to when you're off screen?
I love going for walks on the beach because I live just at the beach. I really enjoy reading as well. Kind of into like nature and being out and that, so that's what I'd enjoy doing. Like, I love going for runs on the beach, and well, the gyms are closed, but
so keeping fit and getting out into the great outdoors, it's nothing better than for your head in that sense. One thing I was wondering, obviously you're in your early 20s and it's great to be making this type of money in terms of revenue streams, but in terms of sustainability, can this go on for a long time, do you think? Do you think OnlyFans will develop into something different, or what are your thoughts on that in terms of the sustainability of OnlyFans for yourself?
I think it can go on if you wanted to. If you really wanted to stick at it and work and keep at it to get the results, then yeah, it definitely could go on. Some people kind of just want to do it short term for a bit of money, which is completely fine. But I am happy enough to just stick at it and see where it leads me. But at the same time, I will be like doing other things. Like, I will work my full-time job and keep that part of me as well, instead of just myself all into this.
Is there anything you'd like to say to people out there who are coming to OnlyFans with preconceived ideas?
The only thing I'd really like to touch on would be how a lot of people kind of make a judgment before finding out anything, like as to why people started it or why they do it. And I think that's so unfair, because when you look at the rent prices in Ireland, to even rent a one-bedroom house, you'd be looking at like 1,000 or more. and then the price of insurance for young people and all that. It's just scandalous. Like, it's robbery, like, to say the least. And then there's people like in the healthcare system, like my mother does, and she's on little to nothing, earning little to nothing, and it's sad seeing people in that section struggling financially because the wages are crap in our country. So I think a lot of people should really think before they actually judge someone as to why they do something. If I didn't do OnlyFans, I don't think I'd stand a chance in Ireland, and I love the country so much, but I don't think I'd have stuck around with the price of things if I didn't have that extra income. So it's a bit kind of sad to say, but it is the truth.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a level of people coming up from the next generation trying to build a life in Ireland, and people love this country, as you said, yourself and myself included, but we have seen a lot over the last 10 years of people leaving this country, and down through the years different generations have gone to go to the UK and have gone to America to find life. But without this, it is a possibility for yourself and your own personal circumstance that you wouldn't be able to stay here.
Yeah, exactly. And I would be devastated to leave Ireland because there's so much that I'd like to do and places I'd like to actually see around the country, because I just know it could be a few years that I leave, or a few months maybe. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't like to leave, but the way things are going, it's a bit kind of disheartening for young people. But yeah, it's a bit tough now, if I'm honest.
I know it is. If there was anybody listening out there today who wanted to get into OnlyFans, what would you say to them?
They can text me. No, but I would say definitely go for it. If their only hesitation is what people will think, then just take that off the books as a factor, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your life, it's your body, and you're completely okay to do what you want with it. But definitely start up and do an account if you want, because I just find a lot of people hold themselves back over the hate and the negativity and that stuff, and they kind of try to remain anonymous, which doesn't work. No, if you want to do it, then just go for it, because it's been one of the best things I've done in my life at the moment, so I would 100% go for it.
So go for it. Just take the risks, take the plunge, and you know what, give you a text if they want more information. In terms of that, where can people find you on your social media, in terms if they want to check you out and follow up after this podcast?
My Instagram is where I'm most active. Now, I'm on a shadow ban, so in order to find me, you'd have to type in the full name.
Naomi, it's been great to have you on the Big Nose podcast today. I am more informed. I know much more about OnlyFans. And as I said, I implore everybody to check you out. And you know what? This OnlyFans isn't going away anytime soon. It's only going to grow and grow and grow. And it's really empowering women and giving women and men across Ireland a platform in terms of making money, but also sharing content that they feel is worth sharing.
That's perfect. I really enjoyed being on it, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, being able to talk.